This is the Ravenel Bridge. It's the longest cable span in North America. It opened in 2005, and it runs about 2.7 miles, and it spans from East Bay in Charleston to Patriots Point Road. Well, we were here yesterday, you might have remembered, which this video showed last week. This time we're going to catch that boat right there, the Spirit of Charleston. We're going to take a little ride, about 45 minute ride on that boat. Here's a good look at the Yorktown, which we toured that last week also. As we get on board, that's a little snack shop. They open that up. You can get a snack if you want it. Water. We took our own. Well, we're going to back on out of here. See that guy in that cowboy hat? Now, how long do you think that hat's going to stay on his head once we get out in open water? Well, I can tell you. It's not going to stay on there very long. There's the Ravenel Bridge back in the background. We make our way around the Yorktown here. Pretty good sized catamaran there, but she looks kind of small next to the Yorktown. Now, this island and this fort is Fort Moultrie. It didn't play a big role in the Civil War. It was built somewhere around 1776, and of course it was built to help defend Charleston, and that was during the Revolutionary War. Now here we're sneaking up on Port Sumter, and there's another ferry there at the dock, so we've got to wait for it. Yeah, we waited a few minutes, so he finally got her going, got everybody on board.
It's flying good today, so you can see the mark on the flagpole about a third of the way up. That is the original height of the fort, 3 stories tall. What's left now is what happens when people are angry at you for 4 years.
Yeah, this fort was built in 1814 and served us during the War of 1812. And of course was a big player in the start of the Civil War. As he said, that little black mark up there on that flagpole was the original height of this fort. But they pretty much blew that away. It started the Civil War. When Charleston Confederates opened up fire on it, they pretty much blew it apart. A little bit of what you'll see there has been reconstructed and used years later, but eventually it was just totally abandoned and taken over by the Park Service. Fort Sumter was designed to accommodate about 650 men and 135 guns in 3 tiers of gun emplacements. It never really got finished.
So, well, we got a thumbs up, but I want to get to and talk to our Ohioans first here for a second. But before we get into that, is there anyone from New York here? Okay, good. Almost every group, there's always someone from New York and someone from Ohio here. Now, Sumter, which tends to be the main thing most of y'all came out to see here. Now, although some of you may have come for a but
Fort Sumter was never really fully completed, nor were all its gun emplacements manned. They got nowhere near the amount of troops it was made for, and so it wasn't really ready to defend itself at the start of the Civil War, and I'm not sure it could have anyway against the batteries that were lined up against it. There again, that gives you an idea of the original height. Still a few guns here. Most of them have been removed, those that they had. This was originally a sandbar, and they had to ship in stone and rock and so forth to make the island to build the fort on. This was the fort's magazine. Part of it's been rebuilt after the war because it was totally blown apart. And you can see the damage to what's left of a 3-story fort. There is a museum here in the fort. It's very, very small. This is what this fort would have looked like had it not been blown to pieces. Well, time to leave Fort Sumter. You can read about Fort Sumter. You probably already know a lot about it. Different view of the Yorktown as we come around it. This was a good part of the ride. As you know, I like to get on these boats and take these boat rides. I wouldn't mind being on that one. It was a little breezy this particular day and a wee bit chilly. You got out on the open water and it got windy and it got cool. So the warship had quite a history. As big as this is, it just pales when you consider today's aircraft carriers. Well, time to go around to Charleston. Walk around Charleston a little bit.
How you feeling? So that was your boss, huh?
Yeah, looks like I got a stalker again. Yeah, if you've watched any of my videos, I know him. Yeah.
My name is Austin, like Texas, and up front we got Ryan.
Who?
He is a Belgian.
Ryan?
Ryan. Mm-hmm. This is the one.
That's Ryan.
Local. Where y'all from? Michigan. All right, y'all came a little farther. Yep, step up. What about y'all in the back? Where's that? Fort Mill. Fort Mill, okay. Well, I'm from Lancaster, just over the river there for Fort Mill. I've been a licensed historical tour guide here for 6 years. But yeah, we're gonna kind of circle on up through the market here. Now, I'll give you a little background of the city while we're starting out. So Charleston was founded in 1670. It's been here for 353 years. And we were originally found on the wrong side of the river. A few miles up to Ashley, a place you can still visit called Charleston. We had on the team's game, fled out together. Why did somebody take off running?
Now, you were with me last year. We came to Charleston, took a carriage ride.
It's easy to spread, but if you got the body in the ground, that's the same.
This one's a little different.
Else. 1704.
It's another ghost tour.
Issue that killed about 30% of the city's population. And that big round tomb looks like a pizza oven. That's from 1695. That's a real old one. We assume those Union soldiers, but can't really put a name to any of them. But there are two ghosts in here. Pretty sure we know who they are. About a century ago, there was a lady in town who found out her husband was cheating on her. For some reason, the lady couple staying here at the Mills house one night. So she goes up to the front desk and says, you know, Mrs. So-and-so, my husband has room for us. I gave her a key. She goes up to the 4th floor, unlocked the door, and there's two people sleeping in the bed. She pulls a revolver, shot, killed both of them. Cut on the light, realized she's in the wrong room. Well, two ghosts, a man and a woman, you'll see wandering around the 4th floor holding hand in hand. I believe it's that couple she killed that evening. Anybody eating down here at Pugin's Porch? Eating there tomorrow, all right. It should be a good time. It's one of the more well-known restaurants in town. Been here over 40 years. And back in 1996, there was a 21-year-old college Charleston student named Maria working here as a hostess. Ooh, and it was a really hot, humid evening, so they had the air conditioning blasting inside. And once it was closing time, the door kept opening and closing. Decision, because we're closing. No response. He says, I'm gonna grab you a drink or some bread while you look over the menu. Still nothing. So Maria's probably getting a little frustrated at this point. She says, ma'am, I don't mean to be rude, but you gotta make a decision. We're closing. Ooh. First time the woman looked up. Ooh, stared Maria straight in the eyes, stood up out of her chair, and walked straight to the wall. Maria never saw her again. Up. Huh? A couple years later, the owner's painting the stairs just inside the door. And it's about midnight after everybody left. Brings in a big cup of coffee to help stay awake. And after a few minutes, he heard a crashing noise. It sounded like every pot and pan in the building came crashing down. He says, everything about it's still in here. So he goes back to the kitchen. Everything's still on the wall or the shelf. Searches the building to find a source of the racket. Checks, all the doors and windows are still locked. Says, well, I must just be losing my mind. So he goes back to the stairs to finish painting, picks up his full cup of coffee. It's now completely empty. Red lipstick around the red. He thinks it's that lady in the black dress. Yeah, I saw those windows across at the Mills house. Hotel guests call the police all the time, late at night, about that lady in the black dress, hair in a bun, pacing back and forth on the upstairs piazza. This house is just standing, staring out the top left window. We tried there for highway robbery, because that's the only thing they had multiple witnesses in, but that was a capital offense in South Carolina back then, so they could be executed for it. Well, they had the trial, and in the end, the judge finds them both guilty from the guard. She wants to be executed wearing her wedding dress and be allowed to speak to whoever she wanted to on the way up to the execution spot. Huh? Or didn't really understand the wedding dress. No doubt, she's the most beautiful lady in Charleston that day. And as she passed by each man, she stopped. Will you marry me? Will you marry me? Will you marry me? They all say no. They said she was so arrogant, she believed because of her good looks, some man would marry her that day and get her out of trouble. She was wrong. Halfway through the crowd, people started booing, throwing stuff. Finally, she said, guard, just take me up there and get it over with. Well, I take her up on the platform, and y'all probably seen in westerns they have those drop out doors in the floor. Well, they had time for all that. He showed it too quick. Just had her stand up on the soapbox. Lord wrapped the noose around her neck. It says, Lavinia, any last words? Yes. If any of you have a message for the devil, give it to me now, for I'll be having breakfast with him in the morning. And with that, she kicked the soapbox out from under her, hanging herself. Not smart. She waited for the guard to do it. They've been on that site since 1687. The current building is about 1838. The Catholic Cathedral, it's multiple because of disasters, but from 1850 through 1907, we'll say, parts of it. St. Michael, 1750s. St. Mary's Catholic up there, that's going to be 1839.
It was a story for a pirate that cut his head and...
He cut his what? He would shrink out of the skull. Now, that's never been proven. That may be a tall tale. But he was responsible for hanging about 50 pirates here. So it wouldn't be far-fetched. Yeah, he did keep a skull of a pirate apparently and drank out of it.
Well, we're back at the hotel, and it's time for the wine tasting at the hotel. Now, it's not very crowded tonight. There's, well, it hasn't been the last couple nights. Very unusual. Usually, particularly on weekends, this place is, got to get here early to get a seat. But I like my wine, and so we went and tasted some wine. Well, I did. Stalker didn't have any. Better off that way. Well, we're gonna go down here and mosey around, and take a walk around town. This is a park we stopped at. I'd like to tell you the name of the park, but I don't remember it. Not unusual.
Sounds easy. It's not.
Cobble streets. Buildings here in Charleston with these columns. White buildings with a number of columns. Now that corner down here with the church steeple, that's St. Michael's, and that's the four corners of the law. You got St. Michael's, which represents the God's laws. You got the United States Post Office and the federal courthouse, representing federal law. Then you got the Charleston County Courthouse, state law, and the Charleston City Hall, city law. Now, this is the Circular Congregational Church, established in 1681 by the English Congregationalists, Scottish, and Irish Presbyterians. The church was completed in 1892. And there's a lot of ghost stories about this. That steeple you see in the back, that's a St. Philip's Episcopal Church. And it was constructed in 1835 to 1838. It's one of Charleston's most photographed churches. As I said, there's a lot of ghost stories that revolve around this cemetery and the people that inhabit it. Read some of the inscriptions on these gravestones. Some of them are quite interesting. If you ever get to Charleston, I recommend you take a walk around here. Quite a church, quite a design. Well, folks, it's time to get some sleep. We got a long drive tomorrow, so we're going to head back into Charleston. Get us a little food and a little rest. We'll see you in the morning, or in this case, next week's video. Stay tuned, and don't forget, please subscribe. Helps old Ben out a little bit. I don't make any money off of this, but a little recognition from YouTube would be nice. See you next week.